Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back.
So yeah, I was just saying we went to Busch Gardens again, and this is summertime now, and noticeable difference in terms of lines. It wasn't
Oh,
bad.
really?
It wasn't bad. Still, it wasn't like I've seen Disney and Universal where you stand in line
But
for.
but it wasn't good, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it wasn't. Remember when we first talked, and I was like, the lines were great.
Yeah.
No, you could fill the lines now. Like at the water park, the biggest and best ride, we probably did stand in line for over 30 minutes for that one. But that was the longest I would say we stood. So again, it still wasn't as bad as say Disney or Universal in terms of lines, but it was noticeable.
I was gonna ask you. You said it's parking is $15 or $20 or
20
whatever
bucks,
it is,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And how does that work with like re-entry? Or if you wanted to go home and take a nap and come back at night, is it $20 again, or do
I
you have
don't
like a day pass
actually
for
know.
parking?
I think it's for the full day. I think you can leave and come back. I'm almost positive of that.
How does the parking lot set up for the difference between the water park and the main park?
They are not together at all. You cannot park at one and go to both. They're not within miles of each other even.
So if I wanted to spend the first half of the day at the main park and the second half of the day at the water park, is that
I think you have to pay for separate parking. I bet you do. I don't actually know the answer to that.
Because that was something I started thinking about planning a trip out there. And, what if we only wanted to literally go for a day and not actually stay the night? We'd want to maximize and go to both probably. And the kids would probably like that the most anyway, get some rides in and then go to the water park.
I don't know. I don't know if you have to. I bet you do have to pay for double parking. I'm really going to get a membership next year for sure because the membership comes with free parking and it's like $160 a year. And it comes with and there's no blackout dates, and it comes with like 3 tickets for friends as well. So it seems like the way to go.
It seems like it's worth it, especially if it's enjoyable.
Yeah, no, we've had a really good time. We've ridden every ride now at both parks that she can ride. There's like 3, maybe 4 roller coasters that she's not big enough for yet.
Okay, so Jack's gonna be on them all.
Yeah. But no, I looked at it more this time thinking about our conversation before, and I definitely think it's got geared enough to have tons of stuff for his
kids.
age. Yeah. Even the baby will enjoy like the little kiddie pools and stuff.
Yeah, we definitely need to get something scheduled. It's just we've been so busy.
Right. I mean, if y'all go on a weekend that we could go as well, we'll meet you there. I want to go. We haven't gone on a weekday yet. We went to Tennessee the last week that we weren't able to record, and we went to this caving thing that me and my dad had gone to when I was younger. We did that, and then we drove from Tennessee back here for one night. My grandma broke her leg. Did I tell you about that?
No.
Yeah, she fell.
Was it since the last time we talked? Because then you wouldn't have talked about that, especially.
Yeah, maybe so. It was right before we went to Tennessee, so I guess it was probably right after we recorded last. But yeah, I was in the middle of streaming one night, like 1:00 in the morning. And she called me. She's like, "I've fallen." So I was like, "All right, I'll be here in a minute." And I go up there, and like normally, there's been several. I mean, there's been variations. There's been the I've fallen. I go up and she's broken a hip, and I call the ambulance, and they take her away. And there's been I've fallen. I come and I pick her up.
And you go back to streaming.
Yeah, I mean, there's been many a times when I'm streaming and she'll call, and I'll be like, "All right, I'm gonna run up there real quick, and I'll be right back." This particular one happened at 1:00 in the morning, so I was like, "All right, guys, I'm just gonna end the stream here." And I guess it's good I did. I ended up staying up there a little bit longer. She couldn't get up. Like normally, I can pick her up, and she only weighs like 130. So I can pick her up and get her situated in her chair, and then we'll sit there a minute, and then she'll eventually use her walker to go to bed or whatever. She does this thing where she stays in the living room until way past like when she should go to bed. She'll end up falling asleep, and I think that's probably why she falls sometimes at night because she's like half asleep.
She's tired on top of
yeah. But so anyways, it ended up being she was in a lot of pain and stuff. But she was able to get in bed and everything, and she's like, "I'd probably feel better in the morning." So I was like, "All right, well, in the morning we're gonna go to the hospital either way, and they can make sure it's okay." And so we did. And it ended up being a broken. Like she fell in her walker, like her and the walker both went down like to the right, and she broke her leg I think on the walker because it's like broken at the knee, at like walker height. So I think the metal bar on the walker itself is what was responsible for the break. But yeah, she's been in the hospital for a week, and then she's been in rehab since then. That place is awful. It really is just truly absolutely awful. Hell, whenever we get to the emergency room, they checked her out. And they're like, yeah, it's broken up, and
It done broke.
yep. And they're like, well, we're gonna give her a brace, and y'all be on your way. And I was like, really? I was like, she lives alone. Like, I don't know. I don't know that she can be on her way. I was like, and y'all don't want her to put any weight on it. Like, I had been helping her get up to go to the bathroom and stuff. She slept in her house by herself that night. And even by the time I got up there, like, I'd given her bedpan, but she wasn't able to get on it good. And like, it was just a nightmare. And like, I had to clean off her bed and stuff. And so like, they were like, well, she's able to go home because she's got this break. And after I talked to them for a while, they're like, well, we'll get what's the guy's name that deals with
case managers?
No, it starts with an O that deals with broken bones.
An osteopathic doctor?
Yeah, something like that. Something.
Osteoporosis doctor.
Yeah, that's the guy. Anyways, got the bone doctor in there, and he was like, no, she should stay. So they finally admitted her. But they definitely did not want to admit her, and they immediately wanted her out as soon as they did admit her. Like, they didn't, the emergency room doesn't want to keep people.
No. Well, and that's good because it, leads to, less hospital overcrowding. But the problem is it's, because there's a difference with needing of a hospital level service and needing a assistant level for assistance in home health aides.
Right. Well, she had like other shit going on too. Like, so she couldn't breathe. Like, she kept like being real short of breath and not able to breathe.
Usually not breathing, the emergency department tries to take care of.
Right. And I was like worried about that. I was like, this is new. She hasn't been having this shortness of breath. And then so they went and they did some more scans, and then they found a bunch of fluid on her lungs. And then they were worried it might be caused by a blood clot. And I was like, well, we need to check this out. So there was only one doctor there for the whole hospital. It's small.
How big?
It's small. I don't know how many rooms it is upstairs, but he came down and saw us in the emergency room.
Well, and then, this was nighttime.
No, this was daytime. And I never saw any other doctor for the whole week she was there. She was there a week. He had been the doctor that came down to see us in the emergency room. And then all week long, anytime we saw a doctor, it was him. I saw no other doctor. And I asked one of the nurses, I was like, how many doctors?
Call that in the medical field?
What?
Continuity of care.
Well, see, I asked the nurse how many doctors they have on staff, and she said one. So,
I mean, I guess it's possible if it's that small of a hospital. When Julia does moonlighting as a physician, she'll pick up some evening or night shifts. At the moonlighting at the strip. When she does the overnight shift as the hospitalist at a I don't know how big her facility is, probably a couple hundred beds, but she's the only physician in the house from 7P to 7A.
Huh. I mean, he must be the primary
more during the day.
All the time, but he's got to be off at some point, so there's got to be somebody else. Is the way I looked at it. But yeah, then and then they never did figure out what was causing this. But then
it's a family hospital. Him and his dad started it. He now runs it. His son will run it one day. They live there. When they go on vacation, people just die.
It's funny because this emergency room is fairly new. It's in the smaller town that's near me, and everyone I know refuses to go there because it's new. And like my grandma was like, "Well, I don't know if we should go there or not. Maybe we should go to Raleigh." And I'm like, "But
I wouldn't care about it being new.
I thought new is better. I mean, shit, it's got the newest shit, right? Like to me,
well, it's got new shit. You just they don't have They don't have their workflows worked out yet. They would.
When I say new,
on,
it's probably been there 6 years at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Unless it's got terrible ratings, but a lot of hospitals have terrible ratings, including
right.
mine.
I don't know anything about its ratings. I didn't look it up on Yelp or anything. But
do you know? You don't know how big it is though.
I don't. Is there a way I can look this up?
Yeah. You can literally just look up. I don't know if you can tell me the hospital name without being.
I don't want
to.
But I'm a. Where, can I just Google it?
You can. You just Google it, and you'll come up to usually. I'll look up my hospital right now because I'm trying to remember what the site is that usually there's some site that it's public information. It's out there, but there's a main site that usually you get links to. If that's the Washington Hospital Center size. No, that goes straight to my my hospital. Actually just publishes the information directly on the website. Very easy to find. But God, what was I looking up? There's a hospital safety grade. Is this it? It might be hospitalsafetygrade.com. Well, that's leapfrog stuff, so maybe that's not it. There's a site that compiles all this stuff for you. If you just look up size, it'll tell you exactly how many beds do they have, what services do they offer. Because when we were just in Michigan, there's a relatively new hospital in the town by where my parents have the lake house that we were visiting at. And when we drove by it, I was like, that place looks so small. I can't imagine that's a hospital. And I looked it up, and it had a total. My mom was like, "Oh, they have less than 100 beds," and I was like, "Yeah, they definitely have less than 100 beds." They were licensed for like 25 beds. And I was like, that whole hospital was built for 25 beds. That's less than one of the units at my hospital.
Wow. The fast facts on their website says 50 private inpatient nursing rooms for medical/surgical/telemetry. Is that the number of beds they have? 50?
That'd be the number of rooms. It might be, if it's new, they might have module where they're all private rooms, because that's kind of where the world is going. However, they could, in theory, they could be triple or quadruple rooms, but I doubt it. At the max, I would guess that there's 100 beds. But even saying rooms, that technically does not give you the beds they're licensed for, because you could, in theory, have 1,000 beds, but you're only licensed by like Medicare and Medicaid or your Department of Health or whatnot to have a specific number of beds. But so I would guess, though, they're saying 50 because they probably have 50 licensed rooms.
3 surgical suites and a minor procedure room, imaging including CT, MRI, ultrasound, mammography, cardiovascular diagnostics.
Yeah, it doesn't sound bad. It sounds like a small hospital, but it sounds like they offer a decent amount of services and everything.
Opened its doors January 18, 2013. So it's been there.
That's
6 years.
It's not new.
Yeah, no, but all the old people still call it new, and they don't want to go there. So the thing that happened right before she left, and the doctor was just like, I don't know about that one. So whenever she would eat, she would go blind.
Excuse me?
She literally, every time she ate, she went blind. She could not see anything. She would lose her vision. It would slowly fade away, and it would go away for like 10 minutes, and then it would slowly fade back. But she would go, the way she described it, she went completely blind. Everything went into blackness, and she couldn't see
every
it all.
Every time she ate?
Yes. This happened for 2 days straight. Every meal, about 30 minutes after the meal, she went blind.
Oh, so after the meal.
Yes.
Okay. Physiologically, that makes a little bit more sense, even though it doesn't make that much sense. But I mean, I can more understand your body is now working toward digesting food. So
fuck your eyes.
So shut the eyes down.
Right. Well, that's what he finally decided. Because he was like, so the first time it happened, I was like more worried than before, because I mean, we didn't know that vision was coming back. So it was like, wait, you're blind now? What?
She's like, I'm blind.
Yeah, basically. Well, she was more like, everything's going dark. And I mean, to me, that means, fuck, she's dying, yo. That's it's fading to black over here.
That's when they go into the light.
Yeah. Well, it's got to get dark before you can see the light. So I thought, something real bad's happening. So I'm calling the nurse and everything. And so he comes, the nurse comes and she checks her blood pressure and all that stuff. And she's like, I don't know. I'll call the doctor. And so he comes and he's like, that's weird. And that was literally his diagnosis. That's weird.
ICD-10 code. That's weird.
Yeah, because by the time he got there, her vision had returned. So he's like, well, hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Like, she's full of shit. That's what his mind was saying.
But then it did.
It's like nobody goes blind from eating.
Right? And then it did happen again. And I guess she didn't call anyone. I wasn't there whenever it happened the second time. And she didn't call anybody. She just went blind and lived with it. But then, that night when I was there,
she's like, I'm used to this.
Yeah. This is my life now. I'm blind, but I'm not hungry.
She's pulling up through a drive-through and going, "Oh shit, I forgot." can't drive while eating. I'm just gonna be blind in a minute.
So literally the next time I was there, it was the day she was getting discharged. And she had lunch and went blind. And I was like, we should definitely know why this is happening before they discharge you. Like, how can they discharge a blind lady? And he came back up and he was like, well, he's like, we've already done one, I guess it was CT scan or something. He's like, so I don't think it's a stroke or anything. He's like, plus it keeps happening and it keeps coming back. So I don't think it's a stroke. I think it's just her body doesn't have enough blood to deal with
well, and that's why I said physiologically it makes more sense than I thought you meant. Like literally, she starts biting a sandwich and like
it's just gone.
Like, her body just really has a rejection to certain foods.
But yeah, he was like, I guess it's just your blood's being used for digestion and there ain't enough for her eyeballs right now. I don't know.
But did they ever do an H&H? I mean, I'm sure in the blood work they probably did H&H, but have to see.
Oh no!
Oh, phantoms! Where's our beds? Quickly get in. Yeah, I got in, so when we kill these phantoms, we don't die. I just ran into our wall of irons.
See, I thought that was weird. She's back at the rehab, the same rehab that gave her all this Percocet that one time.
Okay,
you remember that story?
I do. I don't remember all the details of it, but I do remember.
Like they had her down to where she was supposedly taking like 2 Percocet.
Oh, this is one where they were like, yeah, didn't the place get in a lot of trouble?
Yeah, because they were never actually giving her Percocet. They were just claiming she was taking a shitload.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they were selling it. So she's back there. Apparently after that, everyone got fired. So it's a new staff of people.
Well, isn't that a good thing?
One thing that hospital did, to backtrack for a second, they had a room service menu for food. And whenever you were, there was hours on it, but whenever you were hungry for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you just ordered off of the room service menu what you wanted, and then they brought it within 45 minutes.
So it's really, patient satisfaction is a huge metric in hospital ratings now. Well, it has been for a while, but people are really trying to focus toward a lot of things to cater toward patient satisfaction, which I think is good because honestly, the traditional way hospitals do stuff is really ass backwards. It is just, you are the patient, therefore you do everything we say. I don't care how comfortable or uncomfortable it is for you. Like, this is what we tell you, like, must be done right now, which is not what people want to be. So a lot of places are really going out of their way to, especially the smaller places that have the ability to do it, to really change around their food service. A lot of them don't do necessarily the calling thing, but they'll have a concierge that comes in, like, gets your meal requests. Like when they drop off the lunch, they'll give you the menu for dinner and then take your order, quote unquote, for the dinner. Then I have heard of the places that are going toward the phone. I was told my hospital is trying to implement the system for the phone service as well now, but I think the thing is they're still going to be on standardized meal times. My hospital's too big to be able to. Yeah, I
guess when you have these smaller, 50 rooms or whatever, that's the most number.
That's like a restaurant. That's like what seating is in a restaurant, right?
Right. Yeah. I thought that was the coolest shit ever, honestly. Like, and the meals were decent. They weren't anything fantastic, but they were at least cooked to order, and you knew what you were getting. You weren't just like, all right, tonight's Sloppy Joe's, fucking eat it or don't.
I will tell you, when I was when we were in my hospital, when we had the last child, I wrote a very long email to our senior director who's over the food services people, because we had just gotten a new contract with a new food service vendor. And literally the way that we got meals was the most horrendous thing. Like the first day was a sandwich, because we got there late, so it was like a wrapped up sandwich in like saran wrap because it was after the hot meal time, which is fine. I'm not complaining about that. But you literally opened it up. It was a hamburger bun with probably one slice of turkey from like a sandwich package of turkey, like laid on it. So it was like the smallest amount of meat ever on the sandwich, and a piece of lettuce that was probably a quarter, like an eighth of the size of the sandwich, like literally a circle piece of lettuce right in the middle. And that was what the sandwich was. And I looked at it, and it was the first meal that we had gotten, because she was in the labor and delivery suite before that. They wouldn't let you eat. And I kind of laughed, but I took a picture of it because I was like, that's a little bit
Sounds like some Fire Festival
strange
shit.
and ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. It kind of reminded me of pictures from in the movie. And the next day for the lunch or the dinner or whatever it was the next day, it was just that they came and took an order, but then they brought something that was completely not what was ordered with the slip on it of this is what you ordered. The things are circled. And it was like, you asked for chocolate ice cream, and it's like orange sherbet is like the dessert that's there with it. And it was like you asked for the salad with this, and it's like a piece of steak, or not steak, obviously, like a piece of chicken or something like that on the tray. It's like nothing added up at all. And that happened for every single meal. So I took pictures of all of it and sent it over to the senior director. It was just like, look, I worked with you for a long time. Like, we just got a new contract with this vendor, and you're in charge of this vendor. I'm going to show you all these pictures and tell you, that this needs to be looked into. Is patients in a hospital, they have very few options when they're stuck in a hospital. One of the freedoms that they have is that makes them feel good to choose a meal. And when you give them the facade of choosing a meal, but clearly don't even care what they chose, it really is devastating to their well-being.
Yeah.
And she never,
like, what else do you not give a shit about kind of thing is what it
never responded back.
Really?
Never responded back. And then when I came back from paternity leave, I had meetings with her because she was in charge of running our visitation policy, and I was on the work group running our visitation policy. And it was, oh, hey, Jeff, blah, blah, blah. We just talked and talked and talked, and I was waiting for her to bring something up on it. Never has been mentioned. Never one time.
Man, I'm surprised you haven't brought it up. I would. Because I thought about you while I was experiencing this, because I remember you telling me about this situation you had, and I was like, I can't wait to tell him about this room order shit.
Yeah, the room orders. Well, I mean, did she get what she asked for?
Yeah. Every time, other than the first day she got exactly what she asked for. After that, she would call. I'd call and I'd be like, she wants this. They're like, no, she can't have that. She's on low sodium. So what else would she might want?
I mean, that's fine. Sure, you can't have what you ask for just because you asked for it.
Right.
But they're not giving her the facade of sneak something in.
All right, we'll take your order. You ain't getting that shit, you low sodium bitch.
God, the one thing was so frustrating, just like watching the one thing that was circled on there and the blatantly completely different items, and it was just like no care. Nobody seemed to care. And the people who came and took the orders and gave the food were the most pleasant people in the world too. And it's just like, I don't know. Is this what you do? Do you put
do
on
you
this
know you're fucking us?
yeah, exactly. Like, do you have any idea what's going on right now? Or is this just...
Oh, that's funny. Since she's moved to the rehab, it's a night and day to that though. Like, it's awful food.
Good or bad night and day.
It's
terrible rehab.
Everything's awful. Like, awful food, none of that. But she's I don't know. She never says she's hungry either. She's so I guess that's the least of her worries. But like, she's got a woman that I can't ever see her because she only works third shift. But the way my grandma describes it, my grandma's the kind of person, she doesn't complain about stuff really. Like, she's not like whiny, basically. She puts up with whatever. But she's like, this woman comes in and like, for one thing, my grandma complains that like whenever she rings the bell, the quickest that they've ever come was 45 minutes later after she's pressed the button or whatever. So if you were in there dying, I don't know what would happen to you. You just die, I guess. And I've witnessed this too. Like, I've had her press the button while I was there.
You witnessed her just dying?
Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure that's what happened to her sister. Like, her sister went there, and whenever she left the hospital, I was there and talked to her doctor, and he was like, she's gonna be fine. We fixed the problem that she's had with her intestines. She just needs a bit of therapy to get her strength back, but she's totally good. She went to the rehab place and died that night of the lack of oxygen, basically. And I'm sure she had pressed her button and all that other shit, and no one ever came, is how I imagine it. But yeah, like the other day, my grandma pressed the button while I was there because she had, she can't get up to use the bathroom, and so they just basically have her in these diaper things, because they won't.
Ooh,
you can't.
I'm surprised.
Well, you can't get on a bedpan because literally you press the button and you wait an hour. And so she's like, I need to be changed, and I was like, well, have you pressed the button? She's like, yeah, I did right before you got here. So I looked at the time then. An hour and 45 minutes later, they came by. They were like, your button's on. And I was like, yeah, it's been on for an hour and 45 minutes at least since I got here. And they're like, oh, yeah, as quick as we get here.
That is absolutely unacceptable in every way. Now they have we have call systems in our hospital and stuff that actually track those times.
See, that's what I was wondering. Like you're fucking, you go through a drive-through at Taco Bell, and there's a big ass damn counter on the wall of how long it took to judge their performance. But I mean, no one must be judging the performance at this place. But she said the first night she got there, the third shift lady came in, and my grandma had shat herself, and so she told the woman this. Well, she said the woman came in, like, "What do you need?" And my grandma's like, she's just always so rude, and you can't say anything to her. And my grandma told her what happened. She's like, "Well, I ain't got time for that right now," and she left. And my grandma said she'd come back for another hour. And then she finally came back an hour later and changed her. And like my grandma was like, "How can I help you?" And she's like, "Shut up! Don't talk to me. Roll over." And she said, every time she tries to talk, the woman just tells her, "Shut up! Don't talk." So
I've transported patients from some pretty terrible rehab places. So also some very good rehab places. The sad thing about them is we should start one.
Oh God, no, absolutely not.
They are my aunt just had, or my great aunt just had a stroke, and she's getting out of the hospital. My mom's helping get her placement at a rehab facility in New York, where they're from, and they're all full. There's a wait list for every single one of them.
Yeah, they didn't know when they were going to be able to get her into this one because of that whole thing, and they just built two more in this area.
So that's what you never have. You never have a wait.
Yeah, but who wants to deal? I couldn't do that job.
We don't do it. We
just run the business.
We run the place.
Let's see.
Come on, think from a director, owner, operator perspective, not from the. We're not the staff. Come on.
Oh God.
Nobody cares about the staff at their organizations.
I mean, that's probably what's wrong with these people is that they're probably not paid well, and I couldn't do a job where I'm changing people's shitty diapers. So they chose this job. Though. So
yeah, I did that. Our hospital doesn't even allow for diapers anymore, though. Too much of a pressure injury and incontinence and wound problems with those.
Right. She has a bed sore that she had started basically before she even got in the hospital, just from sitting in her own house all the time. And so they'd been bandaging that and dealing with it at the hospital, but I guess it's gotten worse since she's gone over to the rehab. They changed her mattress today to be like some kind of air mattress. Hoping that'll help, but it's not going to help if she's sitting around and pissed for 2 hours.
Right. Yeah. So. Yeah, but I mean, I've changed many people's shitty diapers, grown adults, and it's never fun, but it's part of the job. And granted, I probably get paid a hell of a lot more than a rehab nurse because usually rehab nurses are like LPNs; they're not usually RNs, so It's a lower credential. Normally, I'm not saying I don't know exactly what is at your place, so they probably do get paid a lot less then.
Right. I know my own limits. Like when I helped my uncle, like whenever there was shit involved, I got real rough off about to puke and stuff. And even like the night my grandma was at the house, and the next morning whenever she got up, she's like, "Well, I got to use the bathroom." And so she could not put weight on her leg because it was broken. At the time, we didn't know it was broken. I kept telling her, I was like, "I bet it's broken." But I helped her get on the toilet, and I had to basically lift her. And when I lifted her off the toilet, all the smell of everything in the pot was in my face, and I was just like, and yeah. So
it's something I won't say get used to because you don't ever get used to it. It's something you grow accustomed to doing, right. I guess, when you're in the position. Well, I think what was really funny is one day we kept calling for environmental services because the floor in one of the areas in the ED was filthy. And it happened to be this day that there was so few patients coming in for some odd reason that I was like, you know what? We have not a single patient back in this section right now. Let's pull all the beds out of here, get environmental services up here to actually do a nice big clean on the floor. And we called them 2 or 3 times, telling them that they had this opportunity to come in and get this floor cleaned, and they basically wouldn't come. So I went and found a mop bucket and grabbed a mop and started mopping the floor. And this person, the clerk, kept calling environmental services over and over and over again. And she kept looking at me and goes, "You don't need to be doing stuff like that. That is so beneath you to be cleaning the floor." And I was like, I clean up people's shit for a living. Mopping a floor is not beneath me as something to do right now. I'd rather just get it done while there's the opportunity. I'm not
obviously they're not
environmental service. Yeah, they should have been responding because that's what they actually want us to do things like that, to tell them when they have the opportunity to get big areas like that done. So they should have come. I don't know what they were doing though, why they didn't come, if they were busy doing other things or if they were just dicking around. But I just wanted to get the shit done.
Right.
It's beneath you to mop a floor. Now go change this person's diaper.
Right. Right. Well, hopefully she makes it out of there. She's hating it. I know that.
Well, I mean, you just gotta. How old is she?
93.
Yeah, you just gotta keep the fact that if her leg is broken, she's not gonna have much mobility, and that's when they don't move, they get pneumonia. Keep her active. Otherwise,
right. I've been cleaning her house, and that'll have to be a story for another episode. But the number of things that I found, honestly, I should have told you about this in one of these episodes because it's quite interesting. Some of the things I found, because some of her cabinets I found like where she started putting things in there in like the 1930s and just piled on top of it with other things, and then so like it's just been covered with other things since the 30s and 40s, and like it basically like the rings of a tree. I've been going back in time like through the decades, back to the 30s and finding things, and it's been
I mean, are you finding anything that's going to be valuable?
Well, I found like $6,000 in cash that she told me was her spending
from
money.
the 30s.
No.
Are they like gold certificates?
No, there might be shit like that somewhere. I have found a few like silverbacked $5 bills and stuff from back when we did that sort of thing. But
we cared about our monetary value.
Yeah, but apparently for like the last 15 years, she's only been cashing her income tax checks and then putting them aside for her spending cash. Like I went to, after I found all this money, I went to ask her, I was like, you got any cash in the house I should know about? I don't want to actually throw anything away. And she's like, oh Lord, you didn't throw away anything in my buffet, did you? And I'm like, well, I mean, I've thrown away a few things. Anything I should know about? And she's like, all my income taxes are in there. I keep it from spending cash. And I'm like, how much spending cash do you need?
I mean, what if that guy comes to the door selling a miracle cure-all for
right? She used to get a dividend
for the low price of whatever you happen to have on you at the time.
Right. Yeah, she used to get like a dividend check from a stock, but whenever they were like merging with another company, the deal didn't sound great, so I got her to sell it. And so she's like, ever since I lost my dividend check, I don't have any spending money. And I was like, okay, well, you definitely got the rainy day shit covered. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. But I found like just old ass death certificates from like my grandfather's mother from like whenever she was born in Poland and then died here, born in like the 1800s. Letters from her complaining about the cost of her headstone. That was a whole $1.34.
It's so funny to like look at it like that, but you have to put it in context,
right? Yeah, and just all kinds of stuff. I found these old journals.
I can't, like, people are gonna find our old emails one day in the future and be like, I can't believe it cost me 3 Bitcoin.
Man, speaking of Bitcoin, that stuff's going back up pretty high.
And then it's gone back down. But it's so it's funny because people are saying, "Oh, it's crashing, it's over." The thing is, it was going up toward $9,000, and people were like, "This is just like 3 weeks ago," and it hit $9,000. Was like, "Oh my god, it's back in the game." It's now back down to about $10,000, and people are like, "It's over, it's crashing," and it's like, but it's still, multiple percent higher than it was 4 weeks ago.
Right. I mean, it had gotten back down to like $2,000. Like,
yeah, it was
this year, right?
For a while. Yep, like 4 months ago.
Yeah. I was pretty surprised it's back up to 10, to be honest.
Yeah, it's I got some money in there that is doing better now.
I mean, shit. If it goes back down to 1 or 2 or 3, you should probably buy some.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think it's just going to fluctuate for a long time. Problem is, there's still there's no regulation on it, which is a good and a bad thing, but it makes people leery of what to do because the governments are threatening to, make it illegal and until they can figure that part of it out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's reasonable. I haven't done anything this episode at all. I've been watching Lighthouse.
So you've been watching me get wool, to knock down trees, go stand at the skeleton farm.
Yeah. Just been watching you run around, gathering resources we don't need.
Yeah, as opposed to making a wheat farm, all we're doing is taking care of nature's island. 1 year worth of just walking around and shearing sheep. tilling the soil, replanting trees.
Well, I'll tell you more about the shit I found next episode, but for now, we should go.
All right, everybody.
See you
We will
next
see
time.
you next time.